Guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about how in Great Britain today there is a professor, mind you, who has said that if you read to your children, you're actually putting other people's children at a disadvantage. Oh, absolutely insanity. So also we'll talk about how the UK is going to be looking at the idea of conscription for its citizens. Well, not all citizens, but just a few citizens. So stay tuned here. But before we get started with that, I am going to be speaking at the Newton County Fairgrounds in Jasper, Arkansas. It's a free homesteading event. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on there. It's a 2-day event. You can find more information by going to anamericanhomestead.com, that link right there, and then clicking on the events tab up at the top there, and then finding all the information and a link directly to the event. It's free. It's a free event. The only thing you have to pay for, they would like a donation for parking. But you can go to this event. It's in Jasper, Arkansas, Newton County Fairgrounds. The link is over at my website, and you can find out all the details. And if you go to that event, I will be speaking a number of times during a two-day event. If you bring me an online receipt for a perfect pickler product, okay, like a kit, like the value package or the master system, if you bring me an online receipt that you printed out from your home so that I can see you purchased one of these things, I'm going to give you a seed vault from clearwatervalleyfarms.com that's worth worth $250. $250. This thing is jam-packed with all the seeds you could ever want in your entire lifetime. It's so packed. So $250 seed vault from clearwatervalleyfarms.com. You can get all your seeds there this spring. They have all kinds of seed packs that you can buy for different growing regions in the United States. If you haven't got your seeds yet, go to clearwatervalleyfarms.com. And if you're coming to my event in Jasper, Arkansas, bring me a receipt. They even have a perfect pickler kit over there at Clearwater Valley Farms. So you can get the perfect pickler seed pack, perfect for vegetable fermentation over there at that website. But you come to the event, bring me a receipt, and I will give you the $250 seed vault. Okay, so let's get into this article. A university professor says if you read to your kids, you're unfairly disadvantaging others. According to a professor at the University of Warwick in England, parents who read to their kids should be thinking about how they're unfairly disadvantaging other people's children by doing so. In an interview with ABC Radio last week, philosopher and professor, talk about elitist, Adam Swift says that since bedtime story activities do indeed foster and produce familial relationship goods, he wouldn't want to ban them. Oh, thank goodness, Adam. I wouldn't want you to ban those either. But parents who engage in such bedtime story activities should definitely at least feel, kind of bad about it sometimes. Yeah, the last time I read to my kids before bedtime, I fell into this depression. It just took me weeks to get out of. I don't think parents reading their children bedtime stories should constantly have in their minds the way that they are unfairly disadvantaging other people's children. But I think that they should have that thought occasionally. But Swift also added that some other things parents do to give their kids the best education possible, like sending them to an elite private school, cannot be justified in this way. Private schooling cannot be justified by appeal to these familial relationship goods, he said. It's just not the case that in order for a family to realize these intimate, loving, and authoritative, affectionate, love-based relationships, you need to be able to send your child to an elite private school, he continued, adding that we could prevent elite private schooling without any real hit to elite family relationships. What that means is we want you to be an elite family without having all of the benefits that come with being an elite family. Like simple reading comprehension or solving basic math. At one point, Swift even flirted with the idea of simply abolishing the family as a way of solving the social justice problem. Because there would be a more level playing field if we did. All these people with families over there, with kids that can read, we gotta get rid of that. But he ultimately concluded that it is in the child's interest to be parented. Well, good golly gee, I'm so glad for that. He says that it's in the child's interest to be parented and that parenting a child makes for what we call a distinctive and special contribution to the flourishing and well-being of adults. So the professor has this problem. He sees the issue of homeschooling or schooling in general, elite schooling, private schooling, and he says, hey, these kids, they're turning out really well. really smart. Meanwhile, the ones that we produce in our government factories, they're a bunch of dolts. They can't even read half the time. And this is one of the reasons why people hate homeschooling. That's it right there in a nutshell. We have these kids who are coming out and they are ready to compete and contribute to a well-functioning society. And on the other hand, we have kids who can barely even read and comprehend any. I mean, you've seen all those videos where people go out like on the beach or on the street somewhere and they're interviewing people and they ask them, basic questions, like, what year was the War of 1812? And they can't. I don't know. I've never heard 1776 or 1982 or but it's like seriously, we have that kind of level of incompetence walking the streets of America today, and they're all voting. They're all deciding the future of our country and other countries as well. And some of these professors are like, well, we need to even the playing field. Instead of raising up the idiots to the level of, the people who are intelligent, let's lower the intelligent people down to the level of the idiots. That's much easier to do. And that's one of the reasons why you have so many people now, the bureaucrats who are in these places of power, in these places where they make the rules for everyone else, all of us plebes out there, to take away these rights of homeschooling. And in fact, that's what they're doing here in Great Britain. Take a look at this. Now, for the most part, England has had pretty good homeschooling laws, but that's about to change. Under the new Children's Well-Being and Schools Bill, the right to homeschooling in England and Wales will no longer be automatic for parents of the most, vulnerable children. Sky News, councils will be given the power, people who decide your fate, will be given the power to demand children attend school if their home environment is deemed unsuitable or unsafe. So these councils will determine whether or not you have an unsafe or an unsuitable home environment. And, then we can mandate that your child go to the schools where they can be just as dumb as everybody else. Okay, that's that one thing. Let's go over to the whole conscription thing that came out this week on Great Britain, because as I talked about it, and say reported, other people reported it. It was actually Mark Felton Productions where I first heard this news. Great channel. You should absolutely subscribe to them. Mark Felton Productions on YouTube. He reported that Great Britain actually has more horses in their military than tanks. That's right. There's over 500 horses active in England's military, the United Kingdom's military. Over 500 horses and only 200 and some odd tanks that are working in Great Britain. So they have more horses in their military than tanks. I mean, I can't wrap my head around that. How is that even possible? And so a lot of people in Great Britain have gotten this idea. I mean, we're probably we're getting ready to go to war against Russia. We better have more tanks than horses. And so they're thinking about all these things and they're, we better come up with conscription. But, conscription for some, not all. Who could they be talking about here? Let's read the article. Over at the Daily Mail, it says Britain may need to introduce a new form of conscription. It says the former head of the MI6 has suggested Britain may need to introduce a form of conscription in the face of new international threats. Sir Alex Younger said the government could require powers to compel Britons to give their service one way or another. The ex-spy suggested a new type of enrollment would stop short of full military service for all. And this is something that's been repeated in many of the articles that are talking about this. Here's another one over here at GB News, GreatBritainNews.com. It says, however, the ex-spy chief indicated that any new type of enrollment would likely stop short of full military service for all citizens. And so the question's been asked a lot this week, what does that mean? Are you talking about just, maybe people who are elderly? Or they've already had these rules in place before that you have age limits, young and old who can't serve. So who are they talking about? They understand that there has been over a giant influx over the last few years of people from, certain Ottoman Empire-ish type countries who have come in to live in Great Britain. Are we going to mandate that they serve? Is it even possible to compel their service? You see, World War II, if you didn't serve, if you were a draft dodger, there was big punishments for you. In Germany and other places, they just shot you. But in Great Britain, back during World War II, what they did is they brought you before a court and you were forced to do other jobs, in order to support the war effort. But what are you going to do for all of these people who have their own law, their Sharia law, who says, no, we don't have to obey your law. In fact, they're already implementing Sharia law in other places in Great Britain and allowing the people in Great Britain are allowing them, the British authorities are allowing them to rule themselves by their own law. So they're under their own law. How are we going to compel them to have military service? We have all of these military age males that can serve, but they refuse to because they're under their own law. We'll just ignore that. Meanwhile, we'll send all of the, strapping young British men overseas to fight Putin. And meanwhile, we'll leave our homeland completely unguarded because we've sent all of our military age males. Because all we have is horses to send them on. We don't even have tanks. We'll send them on horseback. And meanwhile, we're leaving our homes defenseless against these military age males that are allowed to remain in country. Ooh, that's dangerous. But see, they don't want to address, the elephant in the room. We're going to have to wait and see what happens on this. I don't know. But that makes some things really uncomfortable. Now they're put into this place where they have to get a military together. They really want to go to war against Putin. But what are you going to do? Who are you going to send? You've got more horses than you got tanks. And you've got no military left. The British Navy is a shell of what it once was. Absolutely a shell. You have no infrastructure. You have no military. You have no equipment. And you have no personnel. What are you going to do? You have some hard choices to make. And it's because of the poor choices that you've made already in the past that you're here. Okay. Leave a comment below. I'd love to know what you think is going to happen with all that. What a mess. What an absolute mess. This is the best time. I'm telling you, I think it was Rush Limbaugh years ago. He said, if you just take a slight interest in the education of your child, you're going to put a child into the workforce, into society that is going to put others at a disadvantage. You're going to almost ensure that child's success because so much of society puts no emphasis or instills no real mandate on making excellence coming out of these public school systems that if you put a little bit of effort in, it's almost like guaranteeing your child's success in life. And I have always kind of lived by that philosophy, when educating my child. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Please leave them below. Please share this video with other people on Facebook and other people on X and all kinds of other social media places that you hang out at. I really appreciate when you share my videos. It helps get the word out of the channel. Also, check out perfectpickler.com. You can find all the information over there at that website. If you purchase one of these kits online and you're planning to go to the Jasper event in Newton County Fairgrounds coming up this month in April, I would highly recommend bringing your receipt. And the first person who comes up to me gets this $250 seed vault from ClearwaterValleyFarms.com. All right, guys. Love you. I'll see you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait.